welcome to the last tackle. Just 2 games left in the Betfred Super League, and I'm delighted to welcome to the studio Kev Brown and Andrew Henderson. Thanks for coming in, gents. 2 games left. We know who's basically won the league leaders. We need to know who's going to finish second and third, and who's going to get that all-important 6th spot.
Yeah, and Wakefield slipped up a little bit, didn't they? They were in the driving seat, but even though Hull didn't win, I don't think anyone gave them much hope against Hull KR. They're still in the fight. I think they'll go into the last couple of rounds believing that they can get there. Darryl Powell, he's got a bit of work to do with that side off the back of the defeat at Castleford. But yeah, all the rest of the teams, probably 5 teams, all jostling for position. Even second at the moment's not confirmed. So Leeds and Saints are looking up, and Wigan are looking down, and they can't catch Hull KR. So there's all to play for.
Yeah, certainly plenty to play for. Although the regular Leaders' Shield will be going to Hull KR.
Yes, I know it's a foregone conclusion, isn't it? With 2 games to go, I think it's near enough impossible for Wigan to catch them on the points difference. So formalities still need to take place, but what a fantastic season for Hull Kingston Rovers, Mark. Really, to come out this year and obviously win the Challenge Cup final, now win the league leaders, and potentially have an opportunity to get the treble. I mean, that is just incredible for them as a club, But as you've just spoke about there's still plenty of opportunities for all teams as we look forward to the business end of the season and who's going to make up that top 6. It's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah. You've been in a playoff mix. How important is that home game? And probably that free week as well.
Oh, it's massive. It's massive getting the fans, your stadium's full, and, going away to someone like Hull KR, Wigan or Leeds, it's a completely different prospect having them travel to you. So all the teams will be really striving. It's probably the second position that they'll all be going for now, won't they? Getting that, going to Wigan is a very, very difficult thing to do, but going to Leeds as well is a very difficult thing to do. So
especially the new Leeds.
Well, the new Leeds defensively, they're brilliant, but I think their attack over the last 6 or 7 weeks has matched that defence. I think they're the form team in the league. I know the league table doesn't suggest that, but in terms of coming into the playoffs in the right time, I think Leeds will be very, very confident.
Let's just quickly go through the fixtures from last week then. So starting on Thursday night, we've mentioned Leeds 26-0 at Huddersfield. Brad Arthur is doing something right after inconsistency for 2 or 3 years. Leeds are seen to be getting something right now. Oh,
look, there's definitely a strong connection within that team. There's no doubt about it. Kev just highlighted previously the defensive prowess that they're showcasing this season. It's been outstanding. I think they're conceding just over 10 points a game. It's been incredible turnaround from where they were. I think the performance against Huddersfield on that night was not their best in terms of attack-wise. They were a little bit clunky there at times. Probably weren't singing off the same hymn sheet from an attacking point of view, but Brad Arthur very, very pleased once again with the defensive display. To nil a team over the course of 80 minutes is no mean feat, especially with Huddersfield, who have showed some encouraging signs in recent weeks as well.
That's the luxury, isn't it? When your defence is so strong, even when you are a little bit off with the ball, albeit they scored 26 points, even if you're a little bit off, you still win the game convincingly, and that's what they've got now. But I look at Jake Connor, he's in career best form. I look at Lachlan Miller, what they've got there.
Brad Arthur said he's not too concerned about Jake Connor's injury, so...
Well, that's massive for Leeds, because everything Leeds have done good this year in attack has had Jake Connor's paw prints all over it.
Also on Thursday night, Salford, another battling performance. They beat Warrington the week before, just came up short against Catalans, who were leading. Salford 16, Catalans 17. Another massive performance by Salford.
I thought it was brilliant, and what else I thought was brilliant was how many Salford fans turned up, and they've been through it like no other fans have this year. They've had very, very little to cheer about. The fact that they went away last week and got the win, and I think the fans will just be really happy that they're competing again, because the team that they're throwing together, they shouldn't be able to compete. What Paul Rowley's done and got a team competing with some very, very good sides who are spending a lot of money is incredible. So In tough times, they're doing a lot of admirable things.
And I'm just a stuck record at the moment. It's the Salford fans, the players, the staff, I feel really sorry for, and they all need some clarity quickly, don't they, to know what's going on?
They certainly do, Mark. This is just this has just been ridiculous, what's been going on throughout the whole season. The what ifs, the what should happen, what could happen. This uncertainty has not done anybody any favours. And you're right, that there needs to be answers. I mean, we're hearing some stuff from the latest coming out of reports that false documents have been submitted to councils and stuff like that. That's another level altogether. That's fraudulent activity. I mean, what is going on? It's just ridiculous. But I'm so impressed with the Salford fan base, and Kev touched on them before. So impressed with them. The fact that they've continued to turn out, with in the circumstances that the club finds us in, they've continued to support that team. And I'm so pleased that group of players who have been, there's been so many different people have to come into that mixer throughout the year. So a lot of young players getting a lot of opportunity, but to come through and deliver a performance last week and get a result away at Warrington was fantastic. And then to back it up with, really pushing Catlan, who, as we know, haven't had a great season themselves, to push them in the manner they did is incredible. So, those Salford fans should be super proud of what they're doing to try and get this team through to the end of the season. And I just hope that they are rewarded long term with a secure club that can rebuild and come back again.
Yeah, well said. Right, Friday, Castleford, Wigan. We've touched on this. Didn't see this result coming.
Well,
Castleford, Wakefield.
Yeah, well, some people might say that they didn't see it coming, but
Wigan was about 3 weeks ago, wasn't it? We didn't see that one coming either. Castleford, Wakefield, didn't see this one coming.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, obviously Castleford, they've been on a 5-game losing streak coming into this game, Mark. So, and some of the performances and the results of recent weeks certainly indicated that it would be a Wakefield win on Friday night. But was so impressed. I happened to be at the game, fortunately, so I got to see it live, and to see the energy and the competitive spirit, which has probably been lacking from that Castleford side for a number of weeks, to see that out on display was good to see. But for them to come through it and get the result as well, I felt they outworked the opposition. I felt they deserved it. I thought Simbican was impressive. I thought the two halves, Atkin and Dejan Arzi, really complemented one another well on the night. But no, really pleasing result for Castleford. Last home game of the season, just nice to give their fans something to cheer about, and probably give them a little bit of a platform to build into the off season and the pre-season with. Wakefield, on the other hand, that's a disappointing loss for them, because they've got high hopes of making the top 6, and that, for me, potentially could put a dent in those hopes.
Yeah, because if Wakefield had won with the result on Sunday, they really would have had one foot in the playoffs, wouldn't they?
They would have done, and it's about getting a bit of momentum and a bit of form in your performances too for when you go in the playoffs. You don't just want to make the playoffs and limp out, and I was really excited up until this week that Wakefield were finding some real good form, and they were going to challenge, the likes of Lee and Wigan and St Helens. But off the back of that performance, Mark, I'll be totally honest, I don't think they had the resilience in defence, or they had the game awareness and the smarts with the ball. I thought they gave way too many chances with Castleford. I thought Castleford were better than the scoreline suggests. There was a couple of calls that they probably should have gone for Castleford, and they blow that score out even a bit more. So, yeah, a few areas of concern there. But what I would say is they're on a journey, aren't they, Wakefield, where it wasn't about year one. Year one, it's been positive and it's been great.
Stadium.
But they don't want to let themselves down now. I think if they can finish off now over the next few weeks and really give themselves a positive couple of performances, then Darryl will be happy with year one.
Yeah, you don't want to rue that missed opportunity, do you? Like you said, it's been a tremendous season for them.
Well, it's so hard to get there.
Like now you're in the position to potentially get there. It's like, we don't want to stuff this up right now. But you made a really good point there, Kev, about that kind of game management and game smarts. And when it comes to those big games, as you'll know better than anyone, the way you've got to play, you've got to be a little bit more methodical, and you've got to know when to kick the ball, where to kick the ball, and understand how to sort of build that pressure. And you're right, probably Wakefield lacked a little bit of that on the night.
You were at Saints on Friday night. Saints were the best team for the first 20 minutes.
They were. I just felt there was a couple of moments where Wigan just got the points. I think,
Sheffield.
And I listened to Paul Wellens and I thought he were bang on. They were very good for 90%, and they did 90% of what he asked them. The problem is when you don't do that 10%, like Hendo's just said, in these big games, if you're not on for the full 80 minutes, a Jay Field will catch you, Bevan French will catch you, a Julian Assembly will jump and catch you.
Oh, he was awesome.
And that's the thing, it was just a couple of moments that Saints probably couldn't have done much around them moments, but they could have done stuff previously to stop them being in that position. I think that's what they'll learn from that game. But they're in the fight. They're a confident group. They'll get Morgan Knowles back this week. They'll get George Delaney back this week, and I think that'll make a big difference for them travelling over to Leigh.
What did you make of St Helens versus Wigan? Obviously, Bevan French back just makes a massive difference.
Yeah, well, I think from a Wigan perspective, I think having Bevan French back has certainly reignited them, re-engineered them in terms of how they're playing. There's no doubt about that. You know, I think Kev and I were chatting about this a few weeks ago. We're sort of almost having an expectation that Wigan are going to come good because they've done this for so many times where they have a little bit of a blip in the season, but then they come good at the right time, ready for the business end. And we weren't quite seeing that. And then I'd say in the last 2 or 3 games from Wigan, we have seen the performance levels rise. I think Bevan French has been certainly at the hub of that. And I think we've seen a few other players back positionally where they need to be, Junior December being one of those. And we're just starting to see that Wigan side.
Don't underestimate Paul Deacon going in as well 2 or 3 weeks ago. You can see there's been a bit of a change attack-wise as well. They look like a real threat now, don't they?
Yeah, I agree. I think they're coming right for the business end, as they always do.
Let's move on to Saturday. Warrington Leigh. Leigh, a great season. Warrington will just want the end of season.
And that's what it looked like. It looked like a team that have given everything. Confidence is absolutely shot. You could hear the murmurings in the crowd. It's just a poor place for them at the moment. I think they will get it right. I think there's going to be a lot of internal investigations. I know they've come out and supported Sam, but I don't think that's done. I think that'll rumble on into the off-season. But let's talk about Leigh. I thought they were sensational. Keenan Brand, he was an ex-Warrington player. Yeah. He scored the hat-trick on that right wing. He looks sensational. But the brand of football that Adrian Lamb's got that side playing, you know, they're another team that, if you're a side coming in the playoffs, you're not too confident about going over to Leigh or playing Leigh at all, because wherever they play, Lachlan Lamb gets hold of that ball and he creates chances. Yeah. If they can get the defence on, get their best players on the field, I do think they can beat anyone.
And finally on Sunday, Hull KR did the business and, let's be honest, have been the best team so far. But they're going to win the regular season. Obviously, a few more steps before the grand final, of course, for Hull KR.
Yeah, certainly. And like I said, they'll be pleased with that one, getting the derby win against their arch rivals. It was a tasty game. You know, there was a bit of spite in the game at times, and you know, that's been obviously talked about since then. You know, I thought it was definitely a game that. Yeah, I think Hull KR would have been pleased they came through, because one thing they're doing really, really well at the moment is that they make it really difficult for teams to get out their own half, and I thought they did that for large parts of the game. You know, they really restricted Hull FC. Aidan Caesar was a number of times having a kick from inside his own 30, you know, but I've got to give credit to Hull FC. I thought some of their goal line defence was admirable, and I thought, you know, the few opportunities they had in good ball, they did ask some questions, but overall, I thought defensively Hull Kingston Rovers looked very calm, connected, in control defensively on their try line, but also more importantly restricting the opposition coming out of yardage. You know, they look really, really good. You know, I think Arthur Morg at fullback's been impressing me in recent weeks. I think he's a genuine threat there, as well as obviously Mikey Lewis and the likes as well. But impressive performance again from Hull KR.
Right, we'll look ahead to round 26 in a moment. First of all, congratulations to the Wigan Warriors women's team. They've just won the regular season. The grand final is going to be on the 5th of October. I tell you what, Dennis Betts, he's won the Challenge Cup, now he's won the regular season with the Wigan Warriors. He's doing a hell of a job as women's coach, is Dennis Betts, isn't he? He's
doing a great job, and I speak to Dennis a lot about his women's team, and one thing he said was when he got the job, he was excited about the youngsters in that group. There was rumours that they were going to sign Jodie Cunningham and some other senior players, and he said, no, we're not going to do that. We've got some very good young players who, over the next few years, I'm going to blood. And yeah, we might have to wear a little bit of pain initially, but the back end will really succeed. He's probably got that even quicker than he hopes. I think Eva Hunter's been fantastic, Jenna Fubister, Grace Banks, the Women's Player of the Season. Yeah. She's just been incredible. So what Dennis has done with that group, how much fun are they having as well when they're doing it? You know, that's what I love about the women's game. They've all got smiles on their faces. They're all on a journey, and you know, the girls like Jodie Cunningham from just over the way, they've been the trailblazers and the pioneers for these youngsters to come through and take the mantle off Saints.
Yeah, because you've really, as your role at York, you've really invested in the women's game, haven't you?
Yeah, we certainly have, and we've had some success there with the women's game. Lindsay Ansfield, coaching team up there, done a tremendous job with the group of players that they've had at their disposal. We've obviously got the pathway stuff all happening now, our 15s and 16s girls coming through into our 19s. So there's a real development plan there at the club to continue to support our first teams, both men and women's. But like I said, we've been back-to-back Super League champions in 23 and 24. We are hoping to three-peat this year. I mean, we haven't had the season that we would like to have done in terms of our form has not been as consistent as it had been last season, but Kev's just highlighted how good Wigan have been. But ultimately, we know ourselves, we've got players there that have played in the big games, know what it takes to win big games, and hopefully, come these semi-finals times, we'll get a victory and see ourselves booking a place in the final on the 5th of October.
Well, Leeds versus York is live on the Sportsman this Sunday. We're at the business end of the season in the Betfred Women's Super League. And as I mentioned, the grand final venue is TBC, Sunday the 5th of October, the grand final. So more live and exclusive rugby league for you this Sunday. Now we've got an exclusive because a couple of the friends of the show are currently cycling from Washington DC to New York City, and I tell you what, that's quite a long way, especially when you're getting on a bit. It's Adrian Morley and Paul Sculthorpe. Watch this.
Here with Scully and Moz, so we're on day 3 now of the ride, guys. We're in Aberdeen and we're heading to Wilmington today. How have you found it so far?
Yeah, been good, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been great camaraderie as it always is, but tough. The first day was over 90 miles. And the weather was a bit of an issue as well. It's been warm. Yesterday wasn't as long, but lots of hills yesterday. But no, it's been good, been tough, but enjoyable.
Yeah, it was some pretty brutal hills yesterday. I think more than expected, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this is your first year on the ride,
Yeah.
Scully. So as you're a bit of an old hand, you've done it for the past few years. So has it met your expectations, Scully?
It has. It's been brilliant. Really well organised as well. Then, you know, obviously it's a mega ride. You know, to see the US by bike as well with such a good team. You know, raising significant funds for a great cause. So yeah, we certainly can't complain. And you know, I've got a nice ride in front of us today. Since set to Wilmington, it's just over 60 miles. I think it'll be minimal elevation today as well. So I think it'll be pretty quick. Get the hammer down, get to Wilmington as quick as we can. So just really appreciate everybody's support, all the sponsors, all the people, the Rugby League family who have followed the trip, the ride and donated. So a massive thank you to that, and keep doing it. It's a great cause, and we're enjoying raising significant funds.
And well done, fellas, raising money for Rugby League Cares as well. And I think Scully looks a bit better than Moz.
Yeah, well, someone needs to give Moz a pair of sunglasses. I couldn't see his eyes.
Well, well done to him. You can donate online for Rugby League Cares. Right, let's turn our attention to round 26 in the Betfred Super League. Thursday night, Leeds versus Catalans. Leeds be looking to put the pressure on Wigan in second.
Yeah, and you can't see anything other than a victory. I think a big victory as well. At AMT Headingley, I expect Leeds to be really humming. I think Catalans, they're looking for the end of the season, aren't they? They've limped, since Joel's taken over. They've struggled. They've got a little bit better recently. Obviously, they got the win at the weekend against Salford, but we've covered that. That's not much of a win. That's almost a relief for them. So, yeah, unfortunately, for them, I think it's going to be a real tough trip. And if Leeds get their act together, this could be a big score.
Yeah, I can't disagree with Kev there. I just think Leeds are humming at the moment and they're looking to go into the playoffs in full force, really, mate. And I can't say other than that. I think the Dragons, like you said, I think the queue's on the rack for them. Their season's done. They know there's a lot of players that are going to be leaving the club at the end of the year, and I can't see anything other than Leeds win on Thursday night.
I think Friday night is probably the tie of the round, Lee versus St Helens, and you're going to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to be there, and I'm really excited for this one. And the reason it's the tie of the round is because they're both looking to go up the table and consolidate positions. They're actually competing against each other for that 4th spot. And and we don't know who's going to win. It's going to be really close. If both these teams play to the best, I don't know who wins. The fact that Morgan Knowles comes back in, the fact that George Delaney comes back in, gives Paul Wellens another headache. What does he do with Jack Wellesby? I don't think he'll play loose forward again.
What would you do with Jack Wellesby?
I play him in the best position that he plays, at fullback. Agreed. I think he's earned the right and he's got the credit in the bank for what he's previously done, not only for Saints but internationally. I think he's one of the best fullbacks in the game. You know, he's coming back from injury. Get him right for the big games. Get him in the right position, and put Tristan Saylor at 6 maybe. Put him back at 6, see if it can work. They need them both on the field, and maybe play them a little bit different. Get Lomax or Mbai on the ball. Get them two running, and I think Saints will be flying.
Lee versus Saints.
Yeah, I'm like Kev. I'm on the fence. I'm getting splinters already because I don't know which way it's going to go. I really don't, because, you know, like I said, both sides have got quality players at their disposal. Both teams are playing reasonably well of late as well. So, you know, it's a tough one. I think Tessie New got done with the HIA. I don't think he returned on the game, so he'll be likely missing for the game, which I think is a big loss for Lee. You know, he's big presence for him out there. I'm probably tipping Saints to go there and upset the apple cart, you know. But like you said, I'm a bit with Kev. You know, there's a thing about getting your best players on the field, like, you know, having your best players out there. But you've got to have them in their best positions as well, because you've got to get that blend.
You can't keep swapping and changing at this time of year.
You've got to get the blend right, 100%, and you've got to get that continuity now and that consistency. You know, 2 games now to get it right leading into the playoffs. So I think Willows is going to have to make a call there.
Wigan Cass.
Yeah, well, you mentioned Cass upsetting Wigan last week. It wasn't. They might upset them this week, but I don't think they will. The fact that Wigan have got Nasemba back playing to his best, they've got Bevan French.
And they've got him back on the left as well, haven't they?
He's back on the left. He's, you know,
leaves are falling off trees, and, you know, we're getting rain and stuff like that. That's when Wigan start playing as well, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I don't know whether it's the weather or the time of the year that gets them playing well. I think the excitement and sniffing a grand final is what excites them, and for whatever reason they just do it. They just time the run, don't they?
Yeah.
And I think it's almost been a masterstroke that Bevan's not gone through that period of the last 6, 7, 8 weeks and getting you know, a little bit sore and a little bit rattled around. He's come back fresh and he looks better than we've ever seen him. So no, I think it'll be a tough ask for Cass to back it up.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Cass will go there with the same level of energy and competitive spirit that they displayed against Wakefield, but I'm just not sure whether they've got that in the locker to rise again and deliver that level of performance, almost as if like their grand final was played the week previously against Wakefield, especially it being their last home game, and they are come up against a Wigan side, for me, Mark, that are really, really on the upward trajectory and building for those playoffs and the business end.
Saturday really is the race for the last playoff spot, with Hull versus Warrington and Wakefield versus Hull KR.
Yeah, well, I'll start with Wakefield Hull KR. That's an exciting game, and I actually think Wakefield at home will win this one. I think Hull KR will go there expecting to win and lift that trophy, but for me, I think Wakefield need a response. They will get a response, and I just remember Darrell's interview on the last time he played Hull KR. I think he was really disappointed because he knew his team were better than what they performed, and he knew that they could get them. I think Wakefield will go after Hull KR. They've got nothing to lose. They've got everything to gain, and I think they'll get them this week.
Well, they have to. It's desperation now. They've got to play desperate this week, but they have to.
Interesting stuff.
Yeah, but they have to play smart. But equally, I think Hull KR just want to make sure they get that result done and probably tie up this league leaders' shield if they can. But I'm backing Hull KR though. I do think Hull KR will go there. I think they will remain in the vein of form that they're in, and they'll get the job done. But you know, for me, Wakefield need to front up this week, because it's for them it's do or die, isn't it? Because I'm backing Hull FC against Warrington.
Are you backing Hull to beat Warrington?
Yeah, I just don't see it with Warrington at the moment. I think it's all between the ears, but when I've been part of teams when everything you try, the more you do, it becomes individual. It's not a collective. You sort of lose trust in the process, and that's what it looks like at the moment. It might be good for them that they're away, and they're a long way away. I don't think a lot of Warrington fans will travel over there, only the diehards. But for me, I can't see Hull FC slipping up. There's so much for them to play for at this game. At home, I think they'll want to put a show on. I think they will put a show on and put some pressure under Wakefield.
And finally, a Sunday, Huddersfield Salford.
Yeah, well, if it's the return fixture, Salford got them, didn't they? Salford got the first win against Huddersfield at home. I remember speaking to Luke Robinson before the game, and he said it's a potential banana skin. Well, this one is as well. Salford will go there with their tails up. It might be the last time some of them play together. They'll go and have fun, and you know what? There'll be a lot of Salford fans travel over there and sing them on, and yeah, they've probably got more to play for than Huddersfield in terms of, you know, what it means to them. It's more than a game, and I do think Huddersfield up against it here.
Right, let's just finish on the Championship, because Hendo, you're the Director of Rugby at York. York is sitting top of the Championship at the moment, so things have gone well this term for York.
Yeah, been a fantastic season so far, Mark. It really, really has. You know, it's just been really pleasing to see the evolution of the team over the course of the season. You know, obviously we had a fantastic experience and result down at Wembley, winning the 1895 Cup, and I've just been equally impressed with how we've responded since then. Because sometimes teams, and Kev would have been part of teams where, you know, when you go and see them there, they go and get a trophy at Wembley, and then they just sort of almost rest on their laurels that's kind of enough. You know, we've got something out of the season. But, you know, I've just been really impressed by the way the York side have continued to remain hungry, stay grounded, and really push to win this competition. And like I said, hopefully on Sunday, again, we're in a pretty good position with for and against, that we get the result on Sunday, then we lift the League Leaders Shield. So, which again is another fantastic achievement for the club. And then we go into the playoff competition with you know, plenty of confidence and belief that we could potentially get to a grand final and win it and do the treble, which would be just amazing.
And Super League ambitions?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, the club has made that clear. I think Chairman Clint Goodchild's made that clear from day one when he came into the club and took it on, that, you know, the aspiration...
Well, you've got the stadium,
yeah,
definitely.
100%. The aspiration has always been to become a Super League club. Now, when that was, there was never really a definitive timeline on that, but it was all about making incremental improvements and slowly growing the club off the field, on the field. Same with the team. Keep building the team and growing the team over the course of so many years. And now we're in a position where we're sort of flirting now with Super League and potentially ready to make the transition to Super League if we, you know, ideally if we can get in the top 12 of the IMG ratings, then we're in. But and if not, that we're able to secure it through the panel. Yeah. Which
obviously it's going to be a big 4-6 weeks for the likes of York, Toulouse, Bradford, London. Oldham could end up being in the Super League.
Yeah, I can never remember anything as crazy as this in my time in the game, that there's so many clubs potentially in the top tier. We saw little time. I think what York have done is they have took baby steps for a long time, and now you can see that with the recruitment, with the team that they've already got, I actually think York have got better throughout the season.
Yes.
You know, after the cup final, like Hendo said, they just kept getting better and been more professional and got on with the job. So, no, Clint's done a fantastic job there, but so have all these other clubs as well. It's exciting that there's a lot of clubs. We speak about Salford struggling in the top tier, but there's so many clubs below the top tier with aspirations and the ability to come up and really...
That's what we want now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what we want. We want...
If we're going to grow again.
Yeah, we want more teams, we want more money, we want more players, and that's what we're getting at the moment.
Right, thanks for coming in, gents, and good luck for the rest of the season, Hendo,
Thanks,
if I
mate.
don't see you. Don't forget, live game on Sunday, live and exclusive in the Betfred Women's Super League. It's for Leeds Rhinos versus York Valkyrie. 3 o'clock kickoff, live and exclusive. Right then, enjoy your rugby league.
This is my time.